Well, we've had Riders Republic for just about a week now, and needless to say, we absolutely love it. But that's not to say there aren't some things we'd like to see change, specifically the mass races and the collisions that come with them. That's going to be our main topic this time around, so stay tuned. We have a great show for you this week. This is the Riders Report. Today's episode is brought to you by our YouTube members. Thank you as always to executive producers Bonecrusher 2D and Coach 34, along with co-producers It's the Mort and Mitch's mom, and our fans and Fans Plus. If you'd like to become a member and help support the channel, hit join down below for cool perks like early access to the shows, emojis and badges, exclusive Discord roles, members-only content, sneak peeks, and more.
If you've been wondering where your pre-order bunny outfit has gone, Ubisoft has temporarily disabled it in the game. They might be tied to those Xbox crashes that were happening. I think those have gone down. They kind of mentioned that, so they're working on it. They want you to get those bunny outfits back. They are hilarious, so I'm sure they'll be back at some point. But if you're wondering where they went, they're missing for a little bit. If you also checked out the game recently, the Halloween outfits are now available both in the shop and in the Shack Daddy Bandit challenges. There are some really cool ones hidden in there. So make sure to go over to that booth, activate those challenges, do all of the funky things that you have to do to unlock them, and then enjoy. There's some really sick wingsuits. Over on Twitter, Riders Republic is hosting a photo contest. You can reply to their tweet with the best picture of you at the grand opening sign to be entered to win some Riders Republic goodies. So make sure to take those photos, send them over on Twitter, and then put them in our weekly challenge photo album that's also down below. And finally, we have a date set for the Tartiflette Games Beta Best Trick. We'll be hosting that event Saturday, November 13th, probably 11 a.m. Eastern, but that time is still a bit flexible. We have about 25 of your best tricks from the Riders Republic beta to get through, and then we'll have news on the very first TFG Riders Republic event. That's all we have for news right now, but it's time to talk about those pesky mass races.
Yeah, dude, pesky is the proper word to use here. I am not a fan of mass races as they stand right now. And let's take that with a grain of salt here because I am a solid middle of the pack rider. Now, I know I've done a couple of mass races with you, partnered up in a squad together. You are a front of the pack racer. You are most of the time in the top 5. So I'm interested to see where our viewpoints collide here as we go along. But if you've played the game, you have probably experienced a mass race, or you've at least been invited to one by the voices of Riders Republic. They happen, what, every 30 minutes?
Right now,
originally
yeah,
it was an
30.
hour, I think.
I think they're doing 30 to start, and then the idea will be every hour. Probably once they slow down, but I hope they do go to an hour because right now I am the player that as soon as that thing goes off, I am over there. So I don't have time to do anything else in the game. I maybe get one challenge in, and then it's back to lining up for a mass race. So,
and that was the issue that they were trying to avoid with mass races, with the timed release of mass races. They said they didn't want it to be something that was readily available. They wanted it to be a special event, maybe once every time you got on to play. So I'm interested to see that they're doing 30 minutes out of the gate instead of just keeping it at an hour to start. The other interesting thing about just mass races as a whole right now, we have yet to see a 64-person mass race in the full release. I believe we had it once while we were testing, but yeah, it's just been capped at 30, right?
No, it's been 64 for like the past three days, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah.
That shows you how many I've done.
Yeah. No, they did do 32 at launch, or 64 at launch, and then they cut it to 32. And then they bumped it back up to 64, I want to say Saturday or Sunday, sometime on the weekend. So yeah, a lot of people thought, there were some bad performance issues, and the collisions were so crazy with 64 players that we thought maybe they were cutting it to 32 because of that, but doesn't seem to be. They didn't tweak any of the collisions, it feels like. And it's been a hot topic around the community. I've seen a lot on Twitter and Reddit and Discord, just people saying the collisions are really bumping me off. And then some people say, no, keep them because Mass races are just supposed to be fun. So it's kind of a divide right now.
Right. But I mean, it is, yes, mass races are supposed to be fun, and so is Fall Guys. But I still almost break a controller every time I play Fall Guys because there is that one bump. You get into the competitive spirit and you want to perform at your peak level. But then someone comes and tail whips you, like what happened to me. I was in a mountain bike section of a mass race, and we came off of a bump, and someone had tail whipped me. Like, they went off a little jump next to me, swung their bike to the right, and knocked me off of the course. So not even, that wasn't my fault at all, but it took me out of that mass race, and I wasn't able to recover. So in that instance where I was in the top 10 and I got bumped by rider 11 because of a silly collision, that kind of sucks. The competitive spirit is kind of lost, and doesn't make me want to go back to play another mass race if that's what is going to happen.
Yeah, you have to be someone that can have some good gear and sprint out to the top 5, top 10 at the beginning of the race, and then the bumps become less. But still, if you race in first person like I do, you can't see most of the people. So I'm starting to go around a corner, handling it fine, get bumped and just get launched off the course, miss the gate. Then you're in 30th, 40th, and you're just not going to catch back up to the front. I did see a tip. If you get bumped off pretty far, don't use the rewind, the backtrack feature. You can just let that timer that says missed checkpoint count down from 3 to 0, and it will reset you right in front of the checkpoint. So if you get bumped real far off course, it might be better just to let that happen. But yeah, it can be frustrating, and you get bumped off and nothing your own fault. It's just unpredictable right now, I'd say. You get bumped hard and out of nowhere and kind of get launched. I've gotten shot 15 feet over. So I think just with so many people, it's not the best implementation, but I do agree with people that it's something that should be in the mass races. And that's where some divide still is. Yeah,
I definitely think that bumping and collisions should be a part of mass races. But I mean, we're hitting glitches, and I don't know if they're glitches. I don't know if it's just the physics of the game yet. I haven't been able to experience it as much as I'd like to. But it kind of feels like the half pipe glitch that we had in Steep, where if you took the tips of your skis and you bounce it, you could almost bounce off of the edge of ramps, and you could get 20 feet of air off of that. And it was just something silly, but you'd hit a bonk and you would hit this ridiculous amount of air time. Some of these bumps feel like that. There's no reason that someone's tail whip should drive me 35 feet off to the right, missing a checkpoint. There should be, I think collisions would be better and more tolerable if there were boundaries to where you could bounce after a collision. You can drive yourself all day off of the map, off the side of the cliff, away from a checkpoint. That's your own fault. But if someone bumps you, there should be a certain amount of space that they can move your character with their bump. That shouldn't just be up for speculation every time.
Yeah, it's just so unpredictable. That's the biggest problem with it. I was thinking either, something where you don't get bounced so much, but you just kind of get locked up in place a bit more. Kind of like if you were driving and you had 4 cars wedged together, you're not tossing the outside car all the way, but he's going to be restricted in his ability to turn. So maybe something like that where you almost kind of get clustered in, turning's reduced a little bit. One of the big discussions I had too when Just Depot was streaming yesterday, and I was talking with him and Nate and some others, it's in a weird in-between spot right now where it's not a strict race with ghosts, but there's people that want to play it that way where they're just going for the best time and for first place, and the people who want to race. And then there is the side that sees it as a Fall Guys type fun event, free for all, 64. You're going to get bounced around, but I feel like it's just not, it's trying to do both and it's not doing either great. And one of the things we had talked about is if they want to keep it that way as a wild, wacky, fun thing, there should be some more obstacles that are unpredictable, like things that move. Maybe even gates that move, like the floating ones in the wingsuit. Maybe they just rock back and forth a little bit, change their spot. Maybe some things pop out of the walls, almost like some more variation, like the race events in Fall Guys, where it's not just you versus the players, it's you versus the environment too.
Yeah.
and just, making it a lot more wacky than just this kind of race with some added bumps.
That is a fantastic viewpoint. I mean, and we already have Tricks Battle, which is very arcadey. So them taking mass races in that direction would make sense. Keep your big multiplayer events arcadey, keep it fun, keep it light, add more challenge, because like you said, at this point, the biggest collisions, the biggest difficulty is dealing with other riders. It's not the map, but if it was the map's fault, that's a completely different story, and you learn to manage that. You learn to time things a little bit differently. You do have free for all. You have the 6v6, taking people on in challenges that are on the map right now as well. I said that right. That was free for all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's your time trial. There's your getting better at those races. You could even put the mass race tracks and all of those switch gates in the free-for-all if you really want to down the road. So you can go with 6 people and try to get the best time on those. But, just keeping it arcadey. I don't know. I'm stacking too many things on top of each other, but I like the idea that the community is coming up with right now that it should be more arcadey, because the competition, I feel like everyone is taking it too strictly as a competition and not as just a fun free-for-all that happens once every 30 minutes.
There's some that are and some that aren't, and it is splitting that difference. So people, either not too many either, I'd say, but some people really want it to be like ghosts only. You can't collide with anyone, and then the others just want it, more of a fun mode. I would like either. I like trying to be first place, obviously, and win, but I don't get as frustrated in Fall Guys because that game is just for fun, and like there's things out of my control with the environment. Like when I miss a checkpoint in Fall Guys, it is something I did, or I jumped, but someone was already like there and I knew I had a chance of not making it. It's not something that's, some guy's not coming from the top rope out of nowhere and just taking me out of the event. That's so rare in that. So maybe a little bit of tweaks or just pop in my head on the half hour, you do it ghosts only. And then on the hour, you do it bumps and more wacky stuff.
I mean, yeah, I like that as well. Offer it just as a standalone. You do the race. Would you keep it the same map so you get one run on Mass Race A, and then in the next 30 minutes you also ride Mass Race A with everyone else?
It could be interesting to see
training.
Training. Don't even get me started on training. I would just be into that way too much.
the other thing that I think Mass Races could benefit from, if they're going a little more arcadey, is make them just a little bit shorter and maybe do 2 rounds of it. Or, just make it like Fall Guys. Like once you're out, you can restart and do it again. Or you can just wait for the queue to move on to the next game. I think making it a little faster would be easier to implement it as an arcadey side quest versus, a big standalone contest that's happening once every blank amount of time. We took this question to our Discord server, to our YouTube followers, and to our Twitter subscribers. Mitch posted some polls earlier today, Monday the 1st, and asked our riders what they thought. Discord, all 7 people that responded were pro change mass races. They wanted to see some tweaks somewhere in the game. YouTube, 37% of you wanted to keep them as is. 56% wanted you to tweak, and 7% wanted to delete. What was the delete option?
Yeah, I tried to come up with like a weird rhyming scheme. So in all of these, keep was just keep collisions how they are. It's part of it. Deal with it. Suck it up. If you want to race time trials, go play by yourself in like career mode. Tweak was they're a good concept, the bumps, but they need to be like some stuff needs to be ironed out with them, maybe change the physics a bit so it's not so obnoxious. And then delete was get rid of the collisions completely and just make it, 64 people racing the same map, but they're all ghosts, so you can go right through them.
Well, it was interesting here. YouTube, so we had 37% keep the collisions how they are. 56% said change them somehow. Twitter was completely reversed. 56% of Twitter users said keep them as is, but only 33% said tweak, and 11% said just do away with them completely. I don't think anyone answered that one seriously, but I mean, it's interesting to see that. I mean, right now, based on our shoddy data, it looks like everyone is split on what needs to happen with mass races. I do kind of appreciate that there is controversy like this out of the starting gate of the game. That means a lot of people are playing the game. And, you know, when people have issues with the game and they're saying something like this where it needs a tweak, that is still a great review of the game where people are playing it and they are that invested that they're demanding something be changed in the game to make them play just that much more. I haven't seen anyone said, I'm not playing Riders Republic because of mass races XYZ. You know, so that's a good thing in my mind. The reviews have been pretty positive. We just want a couple of changes.
There's so much to do, even if you don't like mass races. So it's not even that much of an issue. Yeah, I think YouTube had the most people reply. There was like 25. Twitter was a lot lower. So I'd say overall, most people want just minor tweaks, but they still like the collisions, and I can appreciate that. That's, you know, I like the idea of them too. They just need a little bit of ironed out. No one really wants to get rid of collisions. There was like 1 or 2 votes on each of the polls that said that. So probably some of the racers, and I get where they're coming from too. A lot of people like that. So it is good to have, you know, the mixture of opinions. If everyone came out and said delete, then, you know,
something's wrong.
Yeah, they'd have to make some severe changes. That's something patchable. We saw how well they were able to change the handling of the sports just from the betas to the release. So I'm sure they can make some minor things or make a little bit of adjustments to make them a little more tolerable in the mass races. You also had some people comment on them too, on the polls. Bryce said being bounced around in an uncontrolled pinball machine, no thanks. Takes the skill and line choice out of the equation. Feels like dumb luck, which can be quite annoying. And he also did bring up a good point that they need to make players closer to your camera de-render or go almost transparent. So it sounds like he wants to go more in just that ghost mode. It can get very clustered in first person. You just can't see. That's part of it. Because I do the first person, rocket skis through the trees in Teton. You can't see anything, the gates, the trees, the terrain. So you're just hoping. And if someone wipes out in front of you, it's over for you too. So that's probably the most frustrating part. I think it's the Teton drain section where it's just, it can be a nightmare if you're not like all alone.
Absolutely brutal. But yeah, I do agree somewhat that ghost should be implemented, at least at the start gate, at least maybe until the first, you know, give it 3 checkpoints and then everyone goes solid. Something like that would be beneficial.
It's like the nets in Rocket League too, where they go transparent when the ball's in the corner. It just, you know, you need to be able to see at least a little bit of what you're doing. Unless you want to go full on wacky side, then in that case, leave the bodies in, because then it's just like real life where you can't see. So slow down if you want to see more. I don't know what else to tell you. Flair also said it would be a bit bland not having the collisions, but it's so random and frustrating. So tweak them, which is pretty much my sentiment.
And then wrapping it up, Mooks, yeah, they're weird. Sometimes you get completely turned around. I agree with all of those. Those are all valid statements. But, you know, we want to hear what everyone that's watching this video has to say about mass races and the collisions that are going along with there. Do you think we should have a ghost element, a transparent element at the start? Do you think there should be some time trial version of mass races where you're allowed to race these and try and get the top score with no one else on the map? Please let us know down below in the comments after you like and subscribe. We can't wait to hear what you say. And of course, we will revisit this topic. If enough of you want us to continue this conversation, we will absolutely bring it back up in a future episode. Thank you to Bryce. Thanks, Flair. Thanks, Mooks, and everyone else who participated in the surveys and responded to this week's main topic. It's that wonderful time of week again where we pick our favorite photos out from the weekly challenge. Each week or every few weeks, we're going to post a new picture theme on the site, and you can submit your best photos. The link to the album is down below. Go check out all of them after today's episode. This week, this is week number 2. We are featuring Welcome to the Republic. That was the theme. Very plain and simple. We're asking you to take pictures in the game and share them with us. This week, we have new users. We love seeing some new names in the mix. We have Tega. Let's roll with Tega. Clicking it an immaculate shot. I believe this is the first group shot that I personally have seen in the game. We have 4 riders all in one shot. They're all doing something different. Everyone is perfectly in frame, and our man out in the front is pointing off to the skies, almost telling his army, get out there, go ride now. And you can also see that they are rocking those wonderfully just wonky, funky skis, those ones that aren't any longer than maybe 2 or 3 feet, made out of 2x4s. Love to do those. A couple of the challenges with those have been a little difficult to try and get some certain times, but I am rambling on those. Go check out the funky skis for yourself, and be sure to take some group photos just like this one. Thank you to Tega for kicking off this week's weekly challenge. Mitch, your favorite?
My favorite, first, I just want to say Tiga's gives me big Wicked Witch of the West vibes, I think, or something where she's like sending out the flying monkeys. Yes. And it's like the same thing. He's sending out his attack squad in the air.
I can hear a horn. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yep. And but I'm going to go with another one that's also kind of a reference. This is Mr. Man's photo, and it was him. I think he's posted on Twitter like the Loch Ness Monster, but he changed that name a little bit. And it's him with that unicorn head, just such a crazy costume outfit, sitting in the middle of one of the lakes in the game, and it's raining and black and white, very spooky, gives me like 1950s weird monster movie vibes. And just, I don't know how he's standing there too, because once you walk, I think it's like up past your chest, you get teleported back out of the water. So he must just be pushing that border so that it's just his head sticking out.
Yeah, Mr. Man, if you're watching this, how many retries, how many backtracks did you have to do to get this shot perfect? That is super impressive that he was able to get that deep in the water. Wonderful creativity on that one. You know, not abusing the photo editor too much, but just abusing the game and kind of breaking the physics a little bit to get that one. We respect the crap out of it. Thank you so much again to Tega and Mr. Man 123 for submitting their pictures. Are we keeping this album open?
Do you want to do one more?
I think we give them one more week of Welcome to the Republic. Please, if you are watching this, if you have played Riders Republic, snap a shot and submit it to this photo album, and we would love to feature you on an upcoming episode of the Riders Report. Thank you to everyone who has already submitted. Mitch, we got some other stuff brewing in the community. Most importantly, the man, the myth, the Steep Steep.
Yes, it is his very first top 5, his iconic top 5 that he always has. He's finally done it in Riders Republic, and I don't know if you've watched it, but that top trick, the number 1, the winner, is just...
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't even want to spoil too much, but it's just, go watch that video. His top 5s are nothing else, and his reactions are almost as good as the tricks that are pulled off, but he has such a big community that there's a ton of tricks submitted, and just always blows my mind what's possible. They were showing what's possible in this game after like 3 days of having it, so I can't imagine the top 5s we'll be seeing a year from now.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little scary. Steep Steep, wonderful. If you don't know, go and follow that man. He is the cornerstone of the community. He doesn't need an ad read, but we're giving him one here right now. Go subscribe to Steep Steep. Speaking of people you should be following, how do I say this? Papa Jape Games YT. Papa Jape. Posting over on Reddit some wingsuit action here in the mountains. This one just, again, breaking some stunts here with some quick changes.
Yeah, this is insane. Just getting massive air going right from rocket wingsuit to the bike. And we did get an answer finally. Someone asked how he switched so quickly. He is not speed switching. There's no glitch or a way to do this. It's just fancy video editing where he cuts out where the game pauses and goes through the cycle wheel. But that's what makes it so cool, right? I mean, you just get you're going to have some crazy stunt montages where people are switching, doing all this wild stuff. I just hope at some point they can add some sort of little animation, maybe optional for people, that happens when you switch sports. Just even a puff of smoke, like the bright smoke colors they have in the game, just so that when you're making some edits in the future and some highlight reels, that if you want that extra funky thing, it happens.
Maybe we'll get that in a director mode. Not if we get a director mode. When we get that director mode, Ubisoft, please just Just make it happen. First update, director mode, please and thank you. Thank you again to everyone who has submitted their stuff. If you would like to be featured in, give yourself a little promo, give some shout outs to the community, please head on over to our Discord channel linked down below and submit your stuff over in the self-promo tab. That is the perfect home for that. Speaking of home, we're just about wrapping it up. So Mitch, you want to tell them where we live on the internet?
Oh boy, we live in a lot of spots, don't we?
Yeah, we mainly use
mainly use YouTube though. So first, thanks again to our members, producers, executive producers, Bone Crusher Duty, Coach 34, co-producers. It's the Mort, my mom, and our fans and Fans Plus. You can join, get those cool perks, or you can just subscribe, hit the notification so you see all of our videos. We have this every single week. We put up some random ones like the dev blog, which talked all about how to make stars and bucks kind of the quickest way. And even I learned some stuff because I don't think they teach that too much in the tutorial, or maybe I just skipped it too fast, but you can find out how to unlock some more stuff. We've also been posting more over on Twitter at Nick or Mitch and on our Instagram, Nick and Mitch YT. And I think there's a link tree. Also our Discord server, maybe the most important place where you can get announcements every time we post something. You can also just hang out, talk to the community, post your own content, talk about riders. We just had the thread. We just started using threads too for today's main topic where people sounded off. So just check out all of the tabs that are in there. There's like 30. Even talk about food and music.
Yeah, you can't beat the Discord. It is our home away from home. It's the summer cabin out by the lake. We all love visiting the Discord community, Nick and Mitch Discord community. If you're new to the channel, we also have a few events that we run. That is actually how we started our channel. Mitch and I love doing esports style, X Games style esports competitions in Steep and now in Riders Republic. We mentioned it up at the top in news. We will be having the beta best trick contest in the upcoming weeks. It's looking like November 13th in the morning on the East Coast of the US here. And we will be doing a full-on Tartiflette Games best trick competition pretty soon. And you can win some wonderful physical hardware that we will send you, some 3D printed medals. Mitch, show it off.
There we go.
Look at all that hard work right there.
This one's going out to P-Dub, right? The winner of Canyon Fodder. I wanted to make sure. It's going all the way to New Zealand, so that's going to be the furthest medal we've sent so far.
Yes, yeah, you can see on the medals there, we have the name of the event over to the side of the logo, and on the back, little cheeky print that Mitch added, we have the year that event took place. Hard to see because it's black on black, it's sunken in there, but we try to do our best to make these as nice as possible, and all of our winners so far have been really happy with them. So come on over, join us for the Tartiflette Games. We can't wait to have you, and we can't wait to get competition started in Riders Republic. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week. Again, please comment about what you think collisions in mass races should be moving forward. Should they tweak them, keep them? What do you like? What do you hate about the game? Let us know. We need some stuff to talk about. Same place, same time next week. We hope to see you there. Thank you again so much. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you on the slopes.